Hi and welcome to our first video of squirt season. The old adage, it's all in the preparation, is always at the forefront of our minds as we try our best to put in place and control all the pieces we can to get us to the best place possible when that bell goes. We're starting early January with cold, damp, short days which make it difficult to fit in all the road and track work required to transform our hairy holiday version into the fit, lean machine we want for later on in the season. We managed 5 weeks of walking and trotting, and then we're ready for the lessons to start. You can see from this first clip, Squirt and Katie were certainly a bit rusty round the edges, so it was back to square one with working on forwardness and straightness. Some use of trotting poles and some leg yielding, which he was rather resistant to. Hopefully you will recognise the progress when we move through the weeks. This, in my opinion, is the major value of videoing lessons. You don't always notice at the time, but if you keep them and look back each month, hopefully you'll see progress. I always take a picture of Squirt in the stable in the same position, monthly, so that I can also see changes in his shape, weight and condition. Here, Katie is being encouraged to keep a more consistent contact for Squirt to work into, and concentrating hard on keeping the right rein consistent for him to drop into. Next, we had our first few lessons doing some low-level jumping exercises. These are designed to improve the canter and to encourage him to get deeper into his fences and not launch himself from a stride out. During these exercises you will also see use of some canter poles and some low cavalettis, which are all designed to improve the canter and ensure that he's listening to the leg and learning not to rush to the fence. After a couple of weeks doing this, we were then ready for a lesson which asked a bit more of a question as far as his jumping went. And we moved on and had a lesson which certainly did that. Occasionally it's good to try a different trainer. We always have one particular trainer who's our base, and occasionally we then venture elsewhere and have a session with another trainer, which I think is really refreshing for horse and rider, gives us a different perspective Our trainer's more than happy for us to do that, and will occasionally suggest to us it's time to go and sharpen him up with somebody else for a while. As you can see, this was much more of a question for him, and we worked on, again, on straightness and also on speed to the fences, shortening the canter, keeping him more compact, and straightness, straightness, straightness. Then we were ready for some arena experience, so chose some unaffiliated dressage and some show jumping to get them back into the competition mode. As you can see in the video, there is some consistency coming. However, Squirt definitely still needs to be ridden more from the hindquarters into the hand. This is shown particularly when Katie asks for the canter transition, when he comes above the bit, and due to the fact that the power isn't coming from the hindquarters enough. However, we were still pleased with his first outing. He didn't disappoint. He doesn't get excited about being out, so that's a good thing. Doesn't get tense. Also really important for Katie to get back into competition mode. Until you're out and competing regularly, you're never completely on your game, and remembering how to ride a test accurately, and as well as being within that environment where everything matters. On the same day, we also did some unaffiliated show jumping. We did the 105 class and the 110. And we did come home with some rosettes that day, so that was all very successful. This was the 110 class, and obviously the first course that he'd jumped under competition situation for quite some time, so we were very pleased. As our plan this year is to move up to BE Novice and PonyClub Open. As a pair, they need to be confident at jumping courses at 1m10, because the show jumping can be very influential in eventing, and they need to have that confidence between them. And the mileage on the clock. It's all about miles on the clock, hours in the saddle. So he was a good boy that day. We came home with 2 firsts from the show jumping and a 3rd in the dressage. All in all, a good start. All that was left for us now was some preparation with some cross-country schooling, which actually proves quite difficult to get in February, as most places are often still closed. We did get our first session out on grass. He was quite excited by it all, as you can see, and we were pleased to see that. It was quite nerve-wracking for us, as this time last year we had some difficulties with his cross-country due to greenness, and we were hoping that he would come out and carry on as he'd finished the season last year, really enjoying his cross-country. So we took him out to have a look at some ditches, some water, a jump off a drop, and see what he thought to it all. and as you can see, he took it all in his stride and enjoyed it. Our third focus at this early time of the year was for Katie to be a demo rider for Caroline Moore in her Raising the Bar training for British eventing coaches. It was a great experience, and Katie rode in the morning doing some flat work, which was great, and they were concentrating on some leg yielding and some medium trot, which obviously we need to now work on to go up a level. It was also a good experience to be riding in front of an audience, quite a considerable audience, which adds to the pressure, similar to what you feel at a competition. So it gives both horse and rider another experience, preparation for when you're going to be out competing. Caroline also used dressage boards in a similar fashion to trotting poles, but just gives them a little bit more to think about. That was really effective. And then in the afternoon it was cross-country, simulated cross-country. Again, Caroline tends to create some difficult, challenging lines and questions, and is not shy of putting the fences up. So there was plenty to look forward to, and Katie and Squirt didn't disappoint. Caroline actually set up an exercise for them where they would hopefully, she wanted them to feel that they were actually out of control, but with another question to negotiate, and she did this within the school environment because, as she rightly says, at a competition you have to deal with what's in front of you. So if you only school over everything that's perfect, then you're not going to get that experience, which no doubtably will happen at some point in a competition. So here you can see that she asked them to ride on down over two large fences and down a hill and a skinny, and then a very sharp turn and a line, a very narrow line with a big question in it. And the idea was that they would feel a little bit out of control, but they would have to deal with what was in front of them. And deal with it they did. We are now towards the end of February and just our final preparation to come. See our next video, Cross Country Schooling at Little Downham, and then we're ready for our first event at Epworth, and just need to pray the weather will stay kind and nothing will be cancelled. Don't forget to like and subscribe.